Thank you very much, distinguished guests. First of all, I would like to thank a lot Mark and the Academy for Cultural Diplomacy for this warm and honorable invitation to be here among you and to present you the opportunities regarding the development of Bulgaria currently, and in light in particular of the presidency of the Council of the European Union that we are currently taking. It's a very nice also occasion to exchange common views and ideas how to contribute for promotion of the global peace, strengthening of the intercultural relations and the wealth and prosperity of the people all over the world. As a representative of a nation which is currently in charge of the Council of the European Union, I would like to point out that this is time when Europe and the whole world are facing major challenges that can be turned into great opportunities. We are in a process of overcoming the recent economic crisis, and now our task is to find the right measures for larger growth and prosperity. Allow me to announce you the four priorities of the Bulgarian presidency, namely the future of Europe and the young people, economic growth and social cohesion. Second, European perspectives and connectivities of the Western Balkans. Third, security and stability in a strong and united Europe. And fourth, digital economy and skills needed for the future. All the events, forums, meetings, and sessions in the better connected world of the day gives a great chance to develop our main priorities and plans. I would like to announce that the Ministry of Tourism of Bulgaria has already organized an informal meeting of the Ministers of Tourism of the European Member States and the Western Balkans. That was on 13 of February 2018. It was the first event of such kind especially dedicated to tourism industry. In line of our main priorities, we invited a number of highest level governmental officials, academia members, tourism stakeholders in order to make the event more visible, constructive and focused. More than 500 delegates from a total of 30 countries attended the event, which incorporated 3 panel discussions on tourism and economic growth, the correlations between tourism and security, and EU-China cooperation in tourism. The most important outcome of the meeting were some concrete initiatives and policy proposals. I would like to present to your attention 2 very interesting initiatives that will be put into consideration and will certainly have positive impact on the development of tourism industry in Europe. First one is the elaboration of the Sofia map on 100 European cultural tourism sites, following the example of Bulgaria in that regard. The idea was born in close cooperation with the non-governmental and business organization related to tourism in Bulgaria, and in the next months we can discuss it further with our partners from Europe. The second idea was proposed by the Minister of Tourism of Croatia, Mr. Gari Capelli, and is related to establishment of European Tourism Fund for financing joint projects and initiatives and for human resources development in tourism as well. With my colleagues from EU, we discussed the possibilities of the establishment of a separate directorate within the EU Commission dedicated to tourism industry in order to make such instruments like tourism funds more effectively and successful. In line with our priority to develop the digital economy and skills needed for the future, the Ministry of Tourism of Bulgaria has organized an international roundtable on digital transformation in tourism on the 15th of February in Sofia. The event featured panel discussions with representatives of Bulgarian and Serbian tourism state authorities, representatives of the European Commission, members of the tourism business and academia. All the participants agreed that the digitalization is the future of the economy and will help and influence not only the tourism sector but the whole business as well. Maybe the most important priority of the presidency is the European perspective and connectivity of the Western Balkans. Over the last 2 decades, we have made remarkable progress. The Balkans are an example of a positive change. From a region marked by conflicts and wars, we have become a region united in peace. We have proven that there are no boundaries for friendship. We attach great importance to deepening regional cooperation and fostering good neighborhood relations for living in a stable and developed region. We want to turn the Bulgarian presidency of the Council of the EU into a Balkan presidency. The European integration of the Western Balkans will ensure the long-term economic, social and political development of the region. Our motto of the presidency, namely United we stay strong, is a proof that today we will work towards regional cooperation, peace and togetherness. Today bridges are built, borders are overcome and new potential is on the horizon. Economies in the Western Balkans have continued expanding by estimated 2.6% in 2017. Western Balkan countries increased employment by roughly 300,000 jobs since 2010, from an estimated 5.5 million in 2010 to 5.8 million in 2016. In line with the positive economic trends, the EU Commission plans to invest more than 50 billion euros in financial instruments until 2020 in the Western Balkan regions. That means that there will be massive opportunity to develop cross-border cooperation. The more people travel, the more they get to know each other, building friendship and partnership. Tourism is the best way of connecting people and cultures. Recently, the region of Southern Eastern Europe has attracted more than 115 million international tourist arrivals, representing 9% of the international arrivals worldwide, having 46 billion euros in international tourism revenues or 5% of global tourism revenues. The Ministry of Tourism of Bulgaria regards as an important priority the development of the mutually beneficial cooperation in the field of tourism with the regional partners. We envisage the realization of joint projects, tourism routes, events, and initiatives. Among our top inbound and outbound tourism markets are our neighbors. I would like to distinguish four interrelated aspects of the impact of tourism on economic growth on the Western Balkan countries. First, tourism leads to raising the investment rate in tourism destination regions through the construction of facilities and infrastructure needed for the production of tourism goods and services, which demand high level of investments, both public and private. Next, tourism development is less capital demanding than most other industries, since tourism is characterized by prevalence of small and medium-sized enterprises. Third, the high level of investments in tourism infrastructure and superstructure means to stimulate employment, economic growth, and the social promotion of small investors. Finally, yet importantly, tourism contributes positively for the employment, the currency exchange and the speed of currency transactions, on productions, on the balance of payment, on investments in creation of physical infrastructure, increasing public expenditure through public services, increasing the public income with the collection of direct and indirect taxes. We are considering creation of an action plan together with every single Western Balkan country in order to draw our next steps in many areas of cooperation. We should continue to support the facilitation of connectivity in the region in terms of transport, air, energy, education, and digital technologies. Bulgaria invests consequent efforts by promoting the digital policy of the EU among the countries in the Western Balkans through gradual reduction of roaming charges and by increasing the possibilities of broadband internet access. Attracting the attention of the potential investors is crucial for the execution of our goals for global prosperity and wealth. I would proudly say that, especially since the accession of the European Union 11 years ago, Bulgaria has already been an attractive destination for investments. Bulgaria has a strategic position ensuring easy access to a market of over 150 million consumers in Southeastern Europe. We have established ourselves as a factor of stability in the region of Southeastern Europe, the Balkan region, and the broader Black Sea region. We have attracted more than 45 billion euros of FDI over the last 20 years. Bulgaria offers numerous important incentives for all potential investors: lowest cost of doing business in the EU, the lowest rate of the corporate income tax, only 10%, enjoying political and business stability for many years. Bulgaria offers social security and tax benefits, has an educated and skilled workforce. We also ensure shortened administrative procedures, financial support for infrastructure, and mutual land plots for municipal land plots for potential investors. Recently, our economy have shown great results. Nearly 4% of the GDP growth for 2017 and the second lowest governmental debt to GDP ratio in Europe, only 24%. Moreover, we are doing great in important economic niches. Bulgaria is the Europe leading investment destination for IT outsourcing of business processes, and for car parts manufacturing in the recent years. Bulgaria is in top 10 countries in the world with fastest internet connection and ranks first in Europe by broadband network coverage. According to Cashman and Wakefield rating, Bulgaria is best outsourcing destination in Europe for 2015. 80% of the cars in Europe have parts produced in Bulgaria. Our country is the largest lavender producer in Europe. Connectivity is a top priority of the Bulgarian government, and it has been a crucial policy for the 3 consecutive mandates of our Prime Minister, Mr. Boyko Borisov. Well-connected and functioned infrastructure networks drive economic growth, provide business opportunities, attract investments, and generate jobs. Bulgaria has a total of 776 kilometers of highways. 5 pan-European transport corridors are crossing the country in order to ensure better access to the South and Eastern European market. With over 150 million consumers. Bulgaria's transportation infrastructure includes railroads with 3,979 kilometers of tracks in use and about 36,724 kilometers of roads, although some of these need further renovation. Sofia International Airport is one of the fastest growing airports in Europe. In the first 6 months of 2017, registered 36% growth of numbers of passengers serving more than 5,100 flights. 5,100 flights. And it is an ongoing concession. It is on an ongoing concession procedure recently. Both also Varna and Burgas international airports are situated on the Black Sea coast and have benefited great renovation in order to enlarge their passengers and flight capacity. In result, both airports could handle more than 2 million passengers per year. Sofia has the newest underground system in Europe, planned to reach 66 kilometers in total length. Constructing fast train tracks is also among the main priorities in terms of transport. A lot of investment have been made in order to enhance the water, sewage and waste infrastructure system, especially in our Black Sea municipalities. Tourism is a high governmental priority on positioning as high-end year-round destination. The country has the potential of being all year-round destination, having world-renowned winter and sea resorts, marvelous sandy beaches, mineral springs, spa facilities and golf courses. Bulgaria is a successor of Asian civilizations. Thracian, Romans, Byzantines, and Proto-Bulgarians have left on this land exceptionally valuable artistic and architectural evidences of their advanced culture. Bulgaria ranks third behind Italy and Greece in terms of historical monuments and artifacts, with over 40,000 being registered of its territory. They are dispersed throughout its land and make it one of the most attractive destinations for people interested in history and culture. With more than 1,600 mineral water springs, Bulgaria ranks second behind Iceland in Europe, and the largest part of them are still open for exploration. Besides these treasures, Bulgaria is proud of its beautiful nature and amazing biodiversity, which is preserved in the parks and reserves in the country. We are attracting people from the whole world through hospitality, offering high-quality biofood and excellent wines. A very telling proof for the sustainability of tourism industry in Bulgaria is that the country has an average growth of 6% of tourist arrivals over the last 5 years, surpassing the EU and the world average. We have attracted almost 9 million foreign tourists in 2017, surpassing the number of the Bulgarian population, which is 7.1 million people. The revenues from international tourism are 3.6 billion euros, with 10% growth on yearly basis. More than 360,000 people works in tourism in Bulgaria, and the industry represents 13% of our GDP. Developing tourism subsectors like the cultural tourism, business and convention tourism, spa and wellness tourism, wine and gourmet are among the main goals of the Ministry of Tourism. We aim to receive more high-spending tourists, and that could be done by building more 5 and 4 stars luxury hotels. In order to support the attraction of the foreign direct investments in tourism, the ministry elaborated an investment promotional events and also an investment maps, with 32 projects with investment volume ranking from 2.5 to 100 million euros. They are located both in the largest cities of Bulgaria and in municipalities with 10,000 population or less. Digitalization is an important part of our investment visibility. Developing digital platforms and applications makes our world more easily accessible for the tourists, giving them better access for information and facilities traveling around the planet. The ministry is already cooperating with innovative digital applications like I Love Bulgaria, an international platform providing information on Bulgarian top tourist sites, and it's a very positive example of public-private partnership. Together with tourism stakeholders, the Ministry of Tourism has developed 8 cultural and historical routes, 12 wine and gourmet routes, and plans to draw a map of spa routes in the country. They can be presented to potential investors, international media, tourism business, and all other interested parties that will advertise them during our future promotional campaigns. We will be actively working with a large number of international organizations, tourism business, and educational institutions and other interested parties in order to further promoting the visibility of Bulgaria as investment destination. In that regard, it is a great honor for me to inform you that Bulgaria will host the International Congress on World Civilization and Asian Roots in the period between 14 and 16 of November 2018. It will be jointly organized with the UNWTO and the Ministry of Tourism of Bulgaria, and it will focus on the importance of the concept of the Asian roots as effective linkage between people, civilization, and cultures. This is one of the most important events of the calendar of UNWTO, gathering delegates from all over the world. I would like to invite you all to visit our country and to be acquainted with everything I have said up to now. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm at your disposal for any further questions. Thank you. Any questions, if you have?
Joseph from the United States. In regards to, you mentioned the lowest rate of corporate income tax. Also then seeing the social welfare programs that are available for Bulgarians as far as education and healthcare. What is the what's available for the citizens in those regards, healthcare and education?
Well, Bulgaria, apart of having the lowest tax rate of 10%, of course, corporate and personal income tax rate, we also we provide additional incentives to investors that are investing among certain amount of money for certain projects, like above 5 million for. And if you invest in the northern part of the country, then even the incentives are higher, because we would like to limit the regional discrepancy between the different regions in the country. So if you do that, there are certain social programs for the employees. The investor is not paying their social security, is covered by the government, and also there is a so-called tax gap, that taxes are not paid. Regarding the particular educational and healthcare program, we have those that are provided by the European Union, because being member of the European Union, Bulgaria is using the so-called European funds. They are divided into regional, European regional funds plus agricultural social funds. The social funds cover the topic you asked. So we have created a lot of programs for that, and everyone who is interested can apply, and they are related with the qualification and pre-qualification and of the different professions, depending who is applying. Also, there are different exchange programs in the educational sector, where different students can exchange a year of their education in other countries simply to gather more experience. Also, there also regarding that, there are some programs to stimulate some workers to go to work, let's say the unemployed people, and due to that, the unemployment rate in Bulgaria is really low. It's 5.4%. Actually, in some sectors we do need qualified people, and in particular in tourism this is the case, and since last year we have started to import seasonal workers from third countries outside the European Union. So it is for us very important that the sector is really growing, but not only this sector, but in particular considering the seasonal character of tourism. For us was crucial to start importing seasonal workers, like a short-term short-term solution of the need for workforce. And simultaneously, we have changed our professional law. So we have introduced the so-called dual system that is very well known here in Germany, where upon the business needs are settled the requirements in the university and professional schools for those who want to work after in this the relevant sectors. And also we are opening in 2019 a special qualification center in the framework of the Ministry of Tourism, where we are going to have practical education, mainly practical skills for waiters, chefs, receptionists, concierge, barmen, and all those kind of professions that are related directly with the consumers and with the tourists. Yes. Lady first, yeah.
Hello, my name is Mon. I'm from the USA, and I wanted to ask about your investments. I was actually curious if you guys have a specific part of the hemisphere that you're trying to pull in investments. Of course, right now, China and Asia has like the most amount of corporate interests abroad, probably more so than you would find in the West, particularly in like America or like perhaps even in South America. So do you guys have a specific part of the world that you're trying to draw in the most investment from?
Thank you for this interesting question. For me, particularly in tourism, but also in other sectors, it's important to attract investors, regardless from where they come. But in tourism, we are very much attracting investors that are, in particular, known brands, of hotel brands or resorts that are not present in the country, and that we would like to have them. So, for example, I was in Washington, D.C. Last week, and this week I just came, by the way, yesterday night from Los Angeles. So we are really developing a lot the U.S. market. We have from there not a lot of tourists, like 87,000 only, but the trend is to increase, because we have increased already of 15% of the American tourism, and this is why we have started, at least I have started to research better the market, and then to present different advertisement strategies for Bulgaria being known tourist destination on one side, and also being preferred as an investment destination on the other side, considering all the incentives we offer for the different investors. But what we did in the ministry, that for big investors, for example, above 50 million, those who are investing more than 50 million level, which means 25 million euros, we are acting as a one-stop shop in the ministry. And for this investor, there is a single assigned person which is taking care of the investor, which really limits a lot to lose time around or to look for a local partner, which usually is considered proper from the investors that are coming. And also currently our government has started a very heavy policy on reducing the administrative burdens for the citizens and the business. In our sector, we have reduced 19 different registration regimes for the business, and reduce the requirements of 19 different registration regimes in the sector, which helps a lot also the business to enlarge their current investments or their current business, and to attract a new one. For example, only for this summer we have more than 6 new 5-star hotels that are under construction. Some of them will operate immediately this summer. In May, others are planned to open in 2019, but still for us it's very important to attract chains like Four Seasons that are not present, like Ritz, like the high-end tourism and the high-end brands are still missing, which we try to attract. And I think that having all those figures on the table, they are interested because we are already in a contact and coordination with them. Thank you.
Hello, Excellency. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Damien. I'm from Indonesia. As you mentioned before that Bulgaria has a lot of industries, and after reading this article from the Gator Fund for Bulgaria, and then I saw it here, there is some environmental issues in Bulgaria, such as air pollution, and then soil contamination from the heavy metals, and also industrial wastes. And then how do you anticipate this one for the social health sector and also the tourism sector? Thank you.
Thank you for this question. Yes, there are certain norms and regulations that we follow, and in particular regarding the air pollution and soil decontamination, there are some funds available again under the European Union and some regulations that we have to meet. So this is why my fellow colleagues, the Minister of Environment and Water, has presented a plan in particular regarding the air pollution that was approved by the European Commission, and in fact yesterday the Commissioner on Environment, Mr. Carmenu Vela, said that the plan presented is accepted as a good one and it shows already results. So we are aware of the problem, and of course different measures related with the use of different type of fuel are also in place. And in particular, in the past, a lot of families were using coals in their homes. This is already almost forbidden, not to say forbidden 100%, but this reduces really the pollution a lot. Also regarding the European tendons and the tendons worldwide, the fuel that is used by the cars, we are trying to limit the cars that are going to the city centers, like in every big city in Europe and in every big city worldwide, to limit the pollution. So we create a very good conditions the public transport to be used. So this is, we have when there are a lot of cars going to the center, and the measures done by daily, because we are doing daily measures for the air pollution in particular. If the result shows that they are not okay or close to the limits, we have the so-called green tickets, where everyone have to leave their car and go and use the public transport. So we have taken a lot of measures, and as I said yesterday, the Commissioner Vela had announced that the plan we presented to the Commission is very good, and in fact, since more than half a year, it shows good results. Of course, it will take time. Hopefully, next year the results will be even better, in the year after better than the previous. So this is what we want to achieve with the plan. Regarding the soil decontamination, in particular, there are little places in Bulgaria where actually the soil is contaminated. One of them is the former metallurgic factory called Kremikovci, which is not functioning anymore. And there we have a specific funding assigned again from the operational program for environment, where we can use EU funds to decontaminate the soil there. And this is what we do, and Sofia municipality is doing. So this will not be a problem in the years to come, and in the upcoming, let's say, 2 to 3 years regarding the soil decontamination. Thank you.
All right, well, apparently your time is running low, so if I may, let me abuse my rule as moderator and ask you one question.
Yes.
And then we can bring things to a conclusion. Tourism very often is thought as being a business. It's about making money, that's it. Us, of course, as an Institute for Cultural Diplomacy, are always trying to see what opportunities are there. It's really for tourism to serve as a catalyst for cultural diplomacy. My own country, the USA, it's about 70–80% of Americans don't have a passport. So meaning just people going abroad, even if it's for the wrong reasons, to relax on a beach or to go shopping or whatever, is already a good thing we would see as an Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. So the question is, what opportunities do you see looking ahead for tourism, also to serve as a framework for cultural diplomacy? And maybe you already have seen success stories in Bulgaria where that's happened.
Well, thank you very much, Mark, for this question. It's very important because tourism is considered not only as an instrument for cultural diplomacy, but also as an instrument for peace, as an instrument for friendship, as an instrument to create relations. And this is why we really always name the tourism being as the soft tool for diplomacy and the little sister of the foreign policy. This is why we also created different relations, and in particular direct relations between the tourism and cultural tourism itself. And this is where the different destinations make a difference, because almost every country, regarding where its geographical positions, will have either sun and sea, or winter, or good nature, or everything, or some of them. But the culture and the history that every country has experienced is different, and this makes the countries unique with a different experience. This is why we created 8 cultural historical destinations that are spanning the entire country, and that we promote together with our main touristic products that are summer and winter. And we rely on the culture and the history to expand the wings of the season, and actually to fight with the seasonal character of the summer on one side having only 4 months, and the winter on the other side having the other 4. So we consider that the cultural historical tourism can be really the tool, together with balneo and spa in our case, and wine and gourmet, the one to bring to help us combat the discrepancy, and in particular the seasonality. On the other side, the cultural diplomacy, in particular in tourism, is extremely important. Not only to attract people to the country being tourists, but also to help investing in that country, and also to create more security in the country and more confidence in the country, because when people are convinced through the cultural diplomacy that this is the country where they would like to spend more time, where they would like to invest, where they have friends, then the barriers are really falling down, and it's easier to continue with the business opportunities. Thank you.
Well, it's great. I think that was a coincidence. I don't think that was the sound of the music, but if I understand what you're saying, so there's no guarantees, of course, that cultural diplomacy will take place, but it sounds like Bulgaria has set up the infrastructure in such a way to at least allow for that to take place in the winter months, and hopefully also beyond.
Absolutely. We have paved the way. We have paved the way, and I'm sure that in the years to come, like 1 to 3 years, we will have a greater results, because on the cultural historical destination which we drew, from 2016 up to now, we face more than 50% growth in some of them, in terms of visits, in terms of being more popular among also the tourists, but elsewhere, because having said that, tourism very much helps also to create a better image of the country, because the image of any country is very important to attract investments, to attract positive attention, to be considered as a factor in the region. And Bulgaria can be very well be considered as a factor in the region, in particular as regards the Western Balkans. This is why one of our main priorities in the current presidency of the European Union is related to that, because we are friends. We consider that the policy based on friendship, the honest policy, open policy, is much better and creates more bridges and more routes than never before. This is why we would like to invest a lot in that, and not only in infrastructure and connectivity, which are very important to develop tourism, but also having different common projects, in particular for our long-distance partners, like the one that are in Asia, in Americas. So it's something that we have still a lot to work, a lot to do, but we have paved the way for that.
No, so in that sense, I think tourism in many ways can help to break stereotypes, whether it's Western
Yeah.
Balkans, Bulgaria, etc., raise awareness about the country itself, about the identity and culture, as well as specific opportunities. So thank you very, very much for your
Thank
time
you.
and coming today. Let's please express our sincere gratitude.
Thank you.